Hi, and here we are with Module 1 on Advanced Prompting Techniques. The prompt is key. This is how you get the maximum amount of information from your AI tool with the minimal amount of iterations in getting the information. Now, if you don't have an enterprise version of your AI tool like Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, you are subject to what we call tokens. And tokens is the amount of information that you can receive in a given session. In other words, you can max out your request for information and then it resets and you have to wait several hours until you can get more information. Now on an enterprise version, you don't really deal with that because you're paying a much higher monthly fee to use that tool. And most businesses and utilities that I work with, they're going to the enterprise version, and the benefits of that as well is that the information that you provide and receive is not used in the machine learning and so out in the public domain. But the prompt gets you more quickly to the end result that you're looking for, and that's the information, the presentation that you're putting together, all of that. So we're going to talk about building prompts. And if you took courses 1 and 2, we learned the fundamentals of prompting skills and workflows, but now we're going to delve into more advanced areas and techniques that unlock the full potential of AI for complex financial analysis. So when simple prompts aren't enough, you look at various areas that we used in sessions 1 and 2. Those totally would not work in complex analysis, a multi-year trend analysis, or root cause investigations, or if you have multi-part tasks like board reports and regulatory filings, comprehensive reviews. Those types of things need a step-by-step instruction manual for AI to follow. And also specific perspectives. So in other words, the tone of your reports that you use for AI and things like that, you can mold those by telling AI how you write, how you speak, things like that, and it'll adapt those. It's kind of scary in that regard because of how thorough it is. And then when it comes to how many times you use AR, we call that iterations. So iterative refinement. So the first drafts that you get on an AI request, they rarely hit the mark, but they might be close. But what we're trying to get you to do is have fewer iterations by building out your prompt language and defining what you're looking for in the use of AI. So one of the techniques that we call prompt chaining are out there where you can break complex tasks into manageable steps. And what we mean by that is instead of asking AI to do everything at once, you break it into sequential steps. And each step's output becomes the input for the next step. For example, we're going to use AI for variance analysis of our financial reports. So you upload a trial balance and you say to your AI tool, identify the top 5 variances from this data. And then you'll get the data and you'll say in step 2, for each variance, suggest possible root causes. And then you get that information, you look it over, and you'd like to know more. So you say in step 3, draft a board-ready summary of findings. So you're still going through the process of step-by-step instructions, and you're also checking the output from AI because remember, it can hallucinate and so on. But still, you by refining your prompts, you get better information, more timely information, and it will save you some time. Then in technique 2, we have what we call role-based prompting, where you assign it a perspective. For example, you tell your AI tool, act like a specific role. For example, act as a utility CFO, act as a regulatory accountant, act as a financial analyst, preparing talking points for management. So by doing that, AI will take on a persona of those particular roles and explain it in language that would come from that particular position. And so, for example, if you're a financial analyst preparing talking points for management or the board, here you have information that is technical that you'd like to explain to a non-technical audience. So it'll take on that persona and give you that perspective that will work better when it comes to developing your own reports for management and the board. Then we have technique 3, which we call few-shot prompting. And what that means is show and tell. So if you have an example of what you're looking for, upload an image of it into your AI tool, into Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude, Perplexity, and say, I would like some output that looks like this. So for example, under our variance explanation example, we upload an image and it says, here's how I write variance explanations. And the example is there in your language. Or example 2, depreciation expense decreased by $22,000, reflecting fully depreciated transformers removed from service. So you upload that and the AI tool writes a response in that type of tone. So what that helps is when you're developing a board report, a management report, it's already in your tone and you're editing a first draft of something you might have written yourself. So that's pretty cool and will save you a lot of time. And then technique 4 for this module, iterative refinement. So improving outputs through follow-up prompts. And here we have, again, the first prompt doesn't hardly ever get you to where you need to be, the perfect result. It usually doesn't happen. But you use follow-up prompts to refine the tone, add detail, adjust focus. Again, if you're not on an enterprise module, what you want to do is cut down on the iterations so you don't max out your tokens and have to wait to get your work done. So you see some of the common refinement prompts that we use is make this more concise, add more specific numbers, simplify for a non-financial audience, make the tone more formal, expand on the third point, things like that. So every iteration will get you closer to what you're looking for. And in this chart here, we talk about choosing the right techniques. So prompt chaining is great for multi-step processes, role-based for audience-specific content, few shot for matching existing formats, iterative for polishing and adjusting. And you see in the right-hand column the use case for this. So keep these in mind when you're using your AI tool so you get the output that you want from the input that you give it. So I think the key takeaways from this module are this, is chain these specific tools to get you the results that you're looking for. So break multi-step tasks into sequential prompts for better results. And then assigning the roles for perspectives. Again, get AI to think like a particular position in your company. That will help get you more audience ready and appropriate results. Show examples. I think in my own experience, that has been the quickest way to get from point A to point B when you're looking for results from your AI tool. And then refine, don't start over, because when you start over, you're burning tokens and you're burning time as well. But use follow-up prompts to polish output incrementally. And if you take on some of these tools, I guarantee you better results right out of the chute.